unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encounter Cast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncounterCast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
What's up? Welcome to Final Encounter Cast. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Twitch.tv/Final Encounter Cast. We're excited to have you along today. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. FinalEncounterCast.com to check out a full archive of the show. God, 88 shows now?
88.
Wow, that long.
The crazy 88.
So it's been 88 shows like since
Was that a Kill Bill reference?
that was.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was referencing the card game.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh.
Jesus.
All right.
Oh, that's crazy 8. Never mind, I'm sorry.
So welcome to Final Encounter Cast. Thank you guys for joining us. I want to thank you so much for being along. We've got a good show for you, although it's going to be a little bit shorter of a show. We had to eat 30 minutes getting some sound settings set up and doing a bit of a meeting before the show, too.
We don't. It's weird that we have meetings.
Yeah, it was time wasted because if we ate that time, I am still hungry.
Wow.
Surprises no one.
Yeah, that is a shock to absolutely zero people that are listening.
Sometimes I get full. Like when I go to Pizza Hut and we get the stuffed crust, a large pepperoni, extra cheese. Oh, baby.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll eat like 2 slices of that and I'm done.
I mean,
I'm amazed.
Well,
Two slices?
Seem like a lot.
but
It's not, but it's so good.
So my real question is because I haven't eaten at Pizza Hut in like 15 years, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I don't think I'd know what a stuffed crust pizza would even taste like at this point. How many slices of a Pizzapopolis pizza can you?
I don't think I've ever had a Pizzapopolis pizza.
Were you not here the time that we had it?
I don't think so. They were like $30-$40 for one pizza.
It's
like lasagna.
It's basically lasagna.
Is what I've heard.
Yeah.
And I always want to try it, and you're like, no, I don't want to eat that because I don't want to get a fat thing in your arteries.
Well, it is super greasy.
Well, why didn't you say something? We could have ordered it for today.
Yeah.
Instead of Belle Isle.
Yeah.
Well, Belle Isle
thanks a
pizza's
lot.
good too.
It is.
Dick.
It is.
You dick. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We appreciate having you along. We got a busy day today. We're going to have actually a bit shorter than normal Checkpoint Radio podcast coming up after Final Encounter Cast because there is an amazing interview that we've put out into the world that I want to make sure that everyone has heard and knows about. Over at checkpointradio.com, you can find the Checkpoint Radio podcast where you can find our interview, our full extended interview with Arnie Roth, the conductor of Distant Worlds. I have to say that this is one of the proudest I've ever been of an interview that I've ever done, and super excited that I get to share that with you guys. So make sure you go and check that out. That is over at checkpointradio.com this week on the podcast. So our replay is actually going to be our discussion of the Checkpoint Radio show, and then if you want to hear the Checkpoint Radio, the actual full show. If you want to hear the actual full show, stay tuned because that's coming up around 6 o'clock tonight after Limit Break Radio gets wrapped up. So we're excited to present that to you because I think this has so far been the best interview, the best interview that I've ever done, but also the best the best episode of Checkpoint that I think we've ever done too.
It was outstanding this week.
It really was. And if you've never listened to Checkpoint Radio, then I really want to invite you to do so this week. If you haven't had time to check it out, maybe your schedule is a little bit more freed up now because of the holidays, then I really want you to make the commitment. Head on over to checkpointradio.com, subscribe if you like it, but listen to our interview with Arnie Roth. All right. So we got a lot to to get through, but I do have to say before we get into the news here that there are definitely some changes that are coming down the pike for Final Encountercast.
Yeah.
So fans of Final Encountercast, not much in terms of the content, I don't think is going to be changing, but there's a couple of elements that I think that we need to, rework on this show. And maybe get some fresh blood in on the show too. So we're thinking about making some pretty significant changes, and we want to invite you along for the process. It's still going to be here at 1:00, whatever this new show is going to be. It's still going to be here at 1:00. But I think and again, the content's not going to be much different. I think we're mostly doing some logo changes, some branding changes.
Still going to be a 2-hour program. Still going to be a news segment. Still going to be a discussion segment.
Still going to talk about video games.
Yep.
Still gonna have penises in it.
Fat will unfortunately still be here.
Yep. All true things.
I mean, why?
Really hard to get him out of here, but
Yeah, but
Because I weigh a
why?
lot.
Because the forklift broke.
yeah, that's why we can't
Because we
move
don't
him.
have any Crisco to line the walls to squeeze me out.
He's the blob. Nothing can move the blob.
Oh, man. So, stay tuned. Checkpoint Radio in full is going to be coming at you a little bit later here on twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Some changes are in store for this program and maybe a couple of our other programs, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. So, if you're a big fan of all of the content that we do here on the channel, then make sure you stay tuned because we've got a lot of announcements coming all throughout the day here on Checkpoint Radio. And the thing is if you think you're just going to be able to stay tuned and get the Arnie Roth interview, we're not playing it here on the Twitch channel. You got to go and download that. We're trying to one of the things that we're trying to prove is that our overlords have some expectations about the numbers that we have to put up in terms of our podcast, and so we knew that all of our shows are good, and we've been trying to encourage as many of you to go over and check out Checkpoint as possible, but we really needed everyone from Limit Break Radio, from Final Encountercast, everyone to go and listen to Checkpoint, and to do that, unfortunately, we've got to hold the gold back.
Yeah, no, man. If you want the
we
good
can't just
interview,
go around giving that shit away, guys. Like you got to go and download it,
and we're not charging you for it.
Yep.
You just have to go download it.
Exactly.
It's free.
Yeah.
I don't even think you have to sign up for anything, right?
No,
it's completely free.
Yeah, it's completely free. You can stream it from the website over at checkpointradio.com. There's no commitment, and the thing is all I ask is if you like the interview, you hit the subscribe button. And here's the reason why: because in a couple of weeks we're going to have David Hayter on the show, and it's going to be the same thing where he talked to us for 30 minutes.
Yeah, he gave us a great interview.
30 minutes, and he talks all about the SAG-AFTRA strike, how he feels it went from a voice actor's perspective. So if you had a dog in that fight, if you felt that performance matters, then guess what? You're going to want to hear this interview with Solid Snake himself. That's coming up in a couple of weeks over on the Checkpoint Radio podcast, and only on the Checkpoint Radio podcast.
And I'll tell you this, all of us in the room after completing that interview had different opinions of the SAG-AFTRA strike and how it went after talking to him.
I absolutely. It's a very mature conversation. There's a lot of nuance in there, and we invite you to be a part of that discussion. Again, that's going to happen over at checkpointradio.com in a couple of weeks. And the other thing is that those smart people that think that they're so smart, that have been downloading the Checkpoint Radio shows off of the Checkpoint or off of the Limit Break Radio and the Final Encountercast feeds, because we've been syndicating them. The David Hayter interview is going to be the first one that is not going to be syndicated, guys. So if you've been lazy and just been like, well, the episodes come here anyway, guess what? We got to give you a reason to go over and subscribe over at checkpointradio.com, and David Hayter is going to be that reason. So that's going to be over at checkpointradio.com in a couple of weeks. All right, let's check out what's going on in the news.
I'm here
to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
Alrighty, guys, the 11th marathon Desert Bus for Hope's charity drive pulled in $650,000 this year, and they have now lifetime eclipsed over $4 million raised for charity.
That is amazing.
That means that they had to play 158 hours of nonstop Desert Bus.
Do you guys?
Oh my god!
Do you guys remember when everyone just, like gamers just assumed that was a joke at our expense?
Yeah, because it was a joke at our expense.
It was, but look at the way that it's kind of turned for full circle, though. Like Penn Jillette got dragged. Both Penn and Teller got dragged by the gaming community because they thought we were being talked down to, and now it's raising, thousands,
millions of dollars
for charity.
Yeah, it's. Has anyone ever had the pleasure of playing a game of Desert Bus?
No,
have not.
Lucky
No.
you.
No.
It's awful. They've literally done everything they can to make that as unplayable as possible, and that someone could stomach 158 hours of this for charity. That's by the way, that's almost a week.
Oh my God, really?
Think about that. It's almost a week straight of playing Desert Bus.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between that and keep your hand on a car to win it? Honestly,
nothing.
Nothing.
It's the same game.
It's the same fucking thing.
Except this actually requires a little bit of thought because you actually have to move the bus left and right. You can't just hold it in one spot. It drifts to the left, so you have to press right and then let go. Oh my God.
That's so funny.
It's maddening.
Couldn't do it.
Clicker Heroes is abandoning the free-to-play model for their upcoming sequel, calling it a predatory model that they can't stick to with a clean conscience.
Good!
In his outlining of why they're shifting back to a paid-upfront model, the dev Fragsworth admits it didn't feel like a good decision when they switched to the free-to-play model, and it continues to hang over the game. In addition to their switch back to the paid-upfront model, they look forward to modders being able to have a more active role in the sequel.
Good.
Outstanding
Round of applause
call.
for Clicker Heroes. Absolutely.
I've never heard of this game, but the fact that they're the first ones to come out and say, listen, free-to-play, loot boxes, microtransactions are predatory, and we're going to go to the other side. I think, you know what, that shows a really big shift that's happening in, on the part of game devs.
It shows enough bad press around this where people are finally like, you know what? Maybe this is garbage and we need to get away from it.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a lesser-known game, and it may just be, is this a mobile title, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. At least now, one actual game dev has, basically kind of started the first domino.
Yeah.
At this point, you can no longer have a conversation where you go, no, it's not possible. We can't do that. It's just it's not feasible with our business model.
Yeah.
That's not how the world works.
This game's in the vein of Dwarf Fortress and stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like the video game that's very much been the video game industry. Yes, yeah, absolutely. And they said, oh well, that's never going to work anymore. We gotta divest and put energy into that. The thing is we talk about this a lot because we kind of view it through the lens of RPGs because we're all RPG fans. And we've talked about it in the terms of turn-based versus action-oriented combat systems. And I think, Nika, you've expressed that, really turn-based only works as, a handheld concept.
That's how I feel anyway.
Well, but then Persona 5 comes out and it is one of the strongest selling titles this year. I'd love to know the sales data of Persona 5 up against Final Fantasy 15, and if they're if they're comparative, then guess what? That blows a hole in the theory that turn-based is dead. And that's the thing, that we heard that projected out of places like G4 for so long that I think we started to believe it. And you get games that come out like Bravely Default, and Pokemon still does well. Pokemon has one of its best years. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Has one of its best years on book in decades. And, I think that is a real indictment on that sort of thinking that was very pervasive about 10 years ago. Nika, do you want to defend as the one who has spoken up?
She can't. It doesn't support her theory.
I can't specifically speak because 15 had other issues. Its battle system was, I think, the most fun part about the game. I don't think 15's issues stemmed from the battle system. I think Persona has a very set fan base, and people are always going to buy Persona. And from what I hear, every Persona game gets better.
And Final Fantasy doesn't?
And that's the thing, though, is that
Final Fantasy has its own issues, and we've established these before.
Hang on, though, but both Pokemon and Persona have held to the idea that turn-based combat is valid, and those sales numbers may be more a reflection on our attitudes towards turn-based combat than the actual idea of whether or not it's fun.
Maybe.
Ooh, I'm poking holes. Did you play Persona 5?
I own it. I have not yet had the time to play it.
Okay,
so
hang on.
Once I have an opinion, I will let
Wait
you
a minute. Nika, I own it, and I have also played about 30 seconds of it. Do you want to make a commitment, both you and I, to during the holiday season, that we will play at least a couple of hours into it?
Yeah, okay, sure, absolutely.
Okay, and then we'll come back to this discussion.
Okay.
I
have some bad news.
Uh-oh.
According to these websites that I just Googled, Final Fantasy 15 as of October 7th has sold 4.7 million copies.
Okay.
As of August 6th, Persona 5 has sold 1.8 million copies.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I also think that has to do with just Final Fantasy's appeal and fan base compared to Persona.
There's a much bigger reach.
Well, not only that, but there's a massively different appeal between both of those games. And there is a much more streamlined dev process with something like Persona because the artwork is not photorealistic.
Well,
and that's what we're starting to see in terms of inflating costs and trying to be nickeled and dimed out of stuff in terms of microtransactions, right? Like that's sort of where that originates, is in this idea that everything has to be photorealistic, and those dev costs are too high. They're too fucking high.
And also to Nika's point, Persona definitely has a reputation about it of getting better with time. Every iteration of Persona that seems to come out, people like more and more, whereas Final Fantasy has been battling an image problem now for about 10 years.
That is true. That is very, very true.
10 years now?
Uh-huh.
Well, look at all of their characters. They look like they dressed them in Hot Topic 10 years ago.
They fucking announced 15 10 years ago, and 13, they announced 13, I mean, it's, yeah.
It's been a while.
But again, all of the character designs look like they were ripped out of Hot Topic 10 years ago, and I think that's why they're so easily mockable. Like, listen, Nika, I know that you have a great Prompto cosplay, but the thing is that no one dresses like that anymore, except for hip-hop dudes. Like, hip-hop dudes have started now adopting that, like, spiky vest thing.
I think that's why it's cool, though. Like, would you really want people to just wear, like, normally what people wear at the mall? Like, why would you want that in a video game?
No, I understand that, and I get why they thought it was cool. And if that game had come out when they had intended it to, then it may have been cool. You know what I mean? But now I just see like,
I think this is still cool in Japan though. Like when you look at the J-Rock artists that you see like on the top hits over there, they all dress like this.
Sure.
And I think that the actual costume designs for FF15 were created by an actual like high-end fashion company. You can buy FF15 costumes from that company for like thousands of dollars.
Oh god.
It's like high-end fashion.
You gotta be kidding me!
That company actually came up with the outfits, and I think it's because that's still cool over there.
Okay, see, because the problem,
okay.
the problem that I have with it, and Nate mentioning what he did about sort of the Hot Topic, and how 10 years ago maybe it would have been cool that I think I got out of it, is if you look at any other Final Fantasy, like we always make fun of the outfits that they wear, right? But never have you been able to look at it and say, well, that exists here in the world. It's always existed just within its own world.
It's always been a fantasy fashion.
And now they're trying to sell fantasy as 10 years ago.
Well, that's the thing. but that's kind of the thing is that, listen,
there's a lot of fantasy still in the game.
But there's a wider audience for, sort of like medieval themed stuff or like futuristic themed stuff. When you attach it too much to like a monoculture like Japan's J-Rock scene, while that has, leaked out into the rest of the world, there's that fundamental language barrier that prevents it from going mainstream. Like the thing that pokes the hole in that is what's the Korean hip hop dude? Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Psy. Yeah. Psy was like the one person to kind of break out of that. But now, there are J-pop fans, there's J-rock fans, but they're still very much in their own little niche, and so are kind of anime fans. Like, there's definitely a critical mass that hits, and now because, anime really only speaks to anime fans, and J-rock has its own kind of limitations, J-pop and K-pop and all of that has its own limitations, that we're going to see it kind of influenced in our culture. But the fact that Square Enix tried to attach their products so hard to that's why I think they're finding a much more limited fan base for their products now as opposed to their products 10 years ago.
A CNBC analyst has looked at the entire microtrans system from a financial aspect, finding that if anything, game companies should raise prices of microtransactions, as gaming remains one of the cheaper hobbies as far as dollars per entertainment hour goes. The article appears to be talking more about traditional microtrans systems, though, not hitting on the more recent predatory nature of loot boxes.
Right. Okay. And I think that this is, again, this supports exactly what I was talking about. And Cliffy B even talked about this, right? Where modern game development is fundamentally unsustainable. And who would know better than a guy who's been in the game industry for 30 fucking years?
Yeah, I want to push back against this quote-unquote study a little bit, because I feel like trying to, well, I understand, yes, TV, movies, video games all fall within the entertainment category. The way that they're consumed is a lot different. If we all go see the movies, we're spending the same amount of money for a set amount of time. We're all getting the 2.5 hours out of the next Avengers movie, right?
Sure.
Or if we sit down and we watch a full season of Supernatural, we're all watching 24 episodes that are 45 minutes long. But if we each pick up the same game, we may spend different amounts of time on it depending on if we like the game, if we're a completionist, if we just play till the end. So how can you actually give it like a straight up cents per hour?
The way he did it was he compared, if you buy a game and assume you spend X amount of money on microtransactions a month, if you play that game for 2.5 hours a day versus watching Netflix for 2.5 hours a day or something else for 2.5 hours a day.
Well, but the thing is that we're overwhelmed. Like, we're human beings and we can't be media consumption vehicles all the time.
Sure.
Like, we have work to do sometimes.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I make some of that media and I get paid for it, so I don't have time to consume as much of it as I used to. And that's nice. Like, I'm glad to be included now in that ecosystem. But at the same time, like, my work is different from yours. You drive around and deliver dumb pizzas to stupid people.
Hey, our pizzas are very smart. Thank you very much.
Are they?
I mean, I assume so.
They don't look dumb.
Yeah, I know they look perfect because I make them every single day.
Does that worry anyone else that he prepares food for people?
Yes.
Not as much. I mean, he has a kid.
Okay, look.
Nothing tops that.
I would not make a pizza that I would not eat.
That's probably
fair.
Fair?
That's fair.
So there is no pizza you wouldn't eat.
Anchovies.
Great.
I won't even touch those nasty fish. They smell bad.
So you've never made an anchovy pizza for someone?
No,
Dude,
I make someone else make that pizza.
I dated a girl whose favorite pizza toppings are, and she was dead serious, anchovies and pineapple.
Fuck that.
And pineapple.
What?
All right, I love pineapple, but not with anchovies. No. Ugh.
I know, right?
And also, pineapples don't go on pizza.
There's a reason that we're not seeing each other anymore.
because
Good
of the
call.
pineapples.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. Yeah, we got to have that discussion on the charity stream, actually, because we ordered pineapple pizza.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so we got to have that argument on stream.
By the way, congratulations on your efforts able to push Team Limit Break Radio for Extra Life up to $7,211.
Oh man!
And
we've now doubled our original goal.
Yes,
our original goal was like 3K because that's all we made last year, so that's where we started, and it's over doubled that.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, that is truly amazing, and I am planning to shoot for over the holidays to do my 24-hour MMO tour.
So, all right. So, what's your goal?
I think
I don't remember what my personal
you put it
goal
at 3K.
I think it was 3K for myself. Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty high.
I think.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that is pretty high. Good luck. I think I've decided that I just bought Dark Souls 1 on Steam during the Black Friday.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
I may do like a 12-hour Dark Souls.
Nika.
thing.
Finally, yes.
All right, wait. Nika's going to do a 12-hour Dark Souls stream. I got money that says she doesn't pass Capra Demon.
Isn't that the first boss?
It's
It
one
is
of them.
the
Yeah.
second boss, but it's one of the hardest in the game.
Hang on. But Senpai has played Dark Souls, so
He's played all of them,
Yeah.
as well as Bloodborne and Neo. He loves
if he
these
helps,
games.
maybe.
He's gonna. No, he's definitely. Come on.
Yeah.
Wait, no, hold on.
after-
I'm going to talk to him, and I'm going to be like, look, she's doing this. We're making a bet. You can't help her.
After
Well,
death.
he wouldn't do it for me, but
Well,
he might
yeah.
give me tips.
Nope.
But how do you
No
help
tips.
someone
tips?
with Capra Demon?
No
It's just a
tips.
broken fight.
It is. I mean, a little bit. No, there is a tactic there because you were dumb and you were like,
Don't do what I did. Use a big sword.
I'm gonna keep using the claymore like a dummy.
No.
I did.
No, use the Claymore, Nika. It's the best one
Yeah,
for
It does the most damage.
I will tell you this, Nika. If you use the Zweihander the whole game, you will have a ton of fun with that game.
It's true.
It is the most satisfying weapon to use in the entire game.
Here's the thing: is that you're gonna struggle early
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it's
a
hard early
lot.
on.
I'm going to struggle the entire game.
Oh,
Are you
no,
kidding?
you're definitely-
This is not
either
my
way.
type of game at all.
No, it's definitely not. You're going to struggle. Here, though, I'm going to, because I had actually loaded up Dark Souls 3 to play through some of the DLC the other day. I'm going to let you in on an insight that I had, okay? That Dark Souls is not an RPG. And don't think of it as an RPG. Think of it as a survival horror game with swords.
Kinda, yeah.
And then your tactics will change enough that you'll be able to start figuring things out.
Except I don't play survival or horror because I hate both of those types of games.
Then this is going to be a challenge for you.
Think of it as Bayonetta with all the niceness taken out.
And no boobs.
I liked
Wait, are
Bayonetta.
there boobs?
Yeah, if you
then
like,
you may like Dark Souls.
it is very hack and slashy.
Yes.
but it's much less forgiving than Bayonetta was. It's like Bayonetta with no witch time.
Okay.
You're gonna
She
die a
sounds
lot. Is what I'm
fun.
saying.
God.
Here's what I'm saying.
We
Nika.
may have talked her out of it.
You're gonna get
No, I
frustrated.
mean, no, I'm still going to do it.
You're gonna get frustrated, but power through. Although,
Yes.
when you start wiping the trash, it's time to take a break.
Yes.
Take 5.
Yeah.
There's no
Get
guarantee
perspective.
that I will ever touch this game again after my stream is complete.
Fair enough.
I tell you this: if you make it past, if you are able to get past ringing the 2 bells, you will finish the game and you will like it because
Yeah.
that was the turning point for me.
Fair
is when I
enough.
finished that point.
That is fair. That is fair. I'm going to be interested to watch that.
Yeah, I will too.
I haven't picked a date or time yet, but it's coming. So
Awesome.
hopefully, I mean, by the end of before Extra Life closes. So
I love it. Yep. And on the note of talking specifically about loot boxes here, calls for regulations are popping up all over the world now. In the U.S., Hawaii's state representative is calling for laws limiting the use of loot boxes, and Belgium has concluded that they do constitute gambling and is looking to ban them. The UK Gambling Commission is now getting involved, which could be the first step in a ban across the European Union.
Yeah, this is not boding well.
Okay, but I heard from the ESRB that loot boxes aren't gambling.
Well, there are a lot of other organizations that are now saying that is wrong.
Yeah, the
I mean,
ESRB is wrong.
technically, if you think about the definition of gambling, loot boxes are absolutely gambling.
They
Absolutely.
are. They absolutely
I
are.
mean, you're paying real money at a randomized chance to get something you want. You may not get it, so you do it again.
And here's the thing, too.
That is gambling.
I mean, here's the thing, too, is that it slides right in kind of under our radar a little bit. As as game players, people who have grown up with video games, like, yeah, it absolutely qualifies as gambling, but it feels the exact same as Diablo.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Kooky actually dropping an update. The UK Gaming Commission is not calling it gambling, so they're on the other side of it. Interesting. So,
Way to go, Brexit.
well, this would not apply to England, actually.
It wouldn't, no.
That is really interesting. I mean, the conversation does need to be out there because I think that as game fans and game players and people who invest in this, that we need to both fundamentally understand the cost, because we've seen examples like Dead Space 3 not be able to make their budget back, but their budget was so bloated in different areas that seems more like a problem with whoever was controlling the purse strings there. And the thing is we've got to be smarter about the way that we allocate and use our money too. And I think that this is going to be a big discussion, and I think that it's different. It's fundamentally different from a lot of the discussions around video games in the past, because there we didn't have a seat at the table. We weren't really adults.
No, and we were too young for it, and frankly, we didn't care.
And then when we became adults, because we became adults on social media and everyone could see every little thought that we ever projected, is that, people still treated us like children because on the internet we act like children.
A lot of the time. Yeah, absolutely we do.
So.
I think that as we're seeing more and more, this has gotten enough attention now that Disney rang down from on high to tell EA to knock it off.
Yeah, well, especially when people are calling Disney and going, "Do you know what EA is doing
with your IP?" And Disney, if you're getting that kind of attention and you've got now states representatives starting to call for legislation, the FTC is the next step.
Yeah,
the Federal Trade Commission is going to get involved in this.
Yeah,
and then they're going to have a real problem.
And then it's going to get ugly. Yeah,
yeah. I like the idea of at Disney, they're sitting around a table and they're going through all their different Star Wars properties, talking about how the profits are up, the ratings are up. And then they get over to EA and they're like, "How's Battlefront doing? 60% worse than the last game." Excuse me.
What was that?
Excuse.
Oh, someone's gonna get their head kicked in. All right, so one last stat on the microtrans world, and we'll move on to something more fun, I promise.
Right.
Despite the growing negative sentiment, free-to-play revenue has actually doubled since 2012, from $11 billion to over $22 billion in free-to-play revenue.
Wow.
That is a fuck ton of money.
And that's the thing, is that, a lot of these companies, their goal is to make money, and there's money in the water, and they smell it. They're sharks, dude.
Yeah.
You can't. We as gamers have got to stop thinking of video game companies as our friends. They're not our friends. They're sharks in the water, because that's what any business is.
But they make things that I like to play.
Absolutely.
That's nice.
That makes them a friend.
No. Do you think McDonald's is your friend because they make food you like to eat?
Oh, they're my best friends. And at affordable prices.
This is exactly why you look like how you do. This is why your name has been Fat Princess for 3 fucking weeks.
It's actually kind of annoying. Can you change that?
To what?
To fat anything else.
No.
The princess part is what offends
Isn't
him.
Fat Princess an anime?
No, it's a video game.
Yeah.
It's a video game.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew it was something.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It must not have been a very good one.
It was like a
pretty well
it was like a
liked.
3DS game. Yeah.
It was on that stupid PlayStation All-Stars Smash clone.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of bad things on that. You weren't bad because you were on that.
Are you saying that
Sly was on that? Sly Cooper.
Yeah.
Sly Cooper's awesome.
What's your
He's
point?
a bad.
What's your point though?
Kratos. He's also a bad.
Was there any Final Fantasy characters in that? I feel like Cloud or someone was in that.
No.
No, Nika.
No.
Cloud is a good.
He
doesn't
He got put in
belong on
Smash Brothers.
PlayStation All-Stars.
Yeah, Square Enix has already buried the hatchet enough with
That's the
with
only
Nintendo.
game that
Wait!
I've sold. I think PlayStation All-Stars is the only game I've sold back within
hold on.
getting it.
If all the bads were on PlayStation All-Stars, that means that Bubsy's a good.
Oh, Bubsy is a good.
Oh, Bubsy.
Bubsy's
Good
a
old Bubsy.
Oh, I would love Sega All-Stars to get dropped today, and featuring Bubsy as its lead hero. Great.
But Bubsy was
Bubsy
on
DLC.
on the the SNES.
He was he? Yeah.
Wasn't he?
I only played on Genesis. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe he. Oh my God, he was. No, you're right.
What?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Bubsy was all the Bubsy games were on Super NES except for Bubsy 3D. You're right.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're right. All right. No, he got me on that one.
I want it to be Smash DLC. Bubsy.
That'd
Yeah.
be so lit.
Dude.
I would play that.
Yeah, the next Smash DLC is Crash Bandicoot and Bubsy.
Dude, I would start playing Smash at that point.
Oh, yeah, and,
Bubsy main.
Oh God, and he's just.
Bubsy
oh my
main?
God, no,
Yeah,
he could
Bubsy
just be
main.
like a Kirby clone. He already has the glide and everything.
We would
He
absolutely
doesn't
have
suck
to
up
do
things.
guys. We would absolutely have to do a match where Joe is playing some character that he likes, and then all the rest of us are Bubsy.
That would be very therapeutic for me. I would take to that very well.
You would get owned so hard.
You would get so wrecked.
You walk to the
You know
wrong
what?
neighborhood, motherfucker.
Great. And it would be just like the rest of my life where Bubsy has wrecked me.
Aw.
The Pokemon Company broke the news this week that the series has moved over 300 million units worldwide lifetime, ranging all the way back to Red and Blue. That number, however, does not consider free-to-play titles like Pokemon Go or downloaded copies of games.
That's a lot more than Final Fantasy 15.
Wait, downloaded as in like on the Nintendo eShop?
Yes,
it doesn't count those?
that is physical copies moved.
Yeah. So, well, but there are only there's X and Y, and then
Gold, Silver,
or Oris, Gold, Silver, Red, Blue, Yellow. Actually,
there's a lot of them on download now.
Holy shit!
Almost all of them are there.
Almost
We're
all
missing
of them.
White, Black, Diamond, and Pearl. I think.
You think we're ever going to get the DS games on eShop?
Probably eventually.
I mean, that's the thing is that
I don't know.
Nintendo's
I think they'll
kind
release
of
it on Switch before they do it on that.
Hang on, I'm actually seeing something kind of interesting because we know that Nintendo is wanting to move on from the 3DS,
yep.
and they're going to stop making games for the 3DS. That doesn't mean that they have to stop support for the 3DS. What if their move is to go back and re-release all of the old DS games?
They could.
They
Easily.
could.
That would make them tons of money.
Dude, it would make them so much money. And the thing is that it would make I would fucking keep my 3DS around. I wouldn't sell it.
That's true. Wow.
Can you not play DS games on the 3DS?
You can if you have the physical card.
Okay.
So,
yeah, you can.
Yeah, so the emulation already exists. It's just a matter of putting them out on the eShop.
Yep.
Oh man,
dude, I
they
think
could make a
Nintendo print money.
I think Nintendo's going to do this. I think that's what we're being set up for. And if they're smart, they're going to do this, and they're
then
going to
do it on the Switch later.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
But the two screens is the problem with the Switch. I mean, they could probably do it, but it's not going to be as satisfying. It's going to be awkward.
You could do it as long as you play it on your television somehow.
Or if you had the two screens set side by side.
Yeah,
Or on top of
it
each
depends
other.
on the game, because when you look at a game
Right.
like Pokemon, whenever you go to use the menu, which is essentially what that next screen is, it would just work like a pause menu. But in something like remember the Chocobo Adventure game that we had, like you actually use the bottom screen for mini games that were going on during on the actual top screen
How
itself.
do you remember that game?
Wow. Yeah,
That
seriously.
game was really bad.
Yeah.
It had cards in it.
It did have a card game in it. I like that.
That's what's important. All right, guys, it's been a rough state of affairs for Destiny 2 as the community continues to sound dissatisfied with the game a few months after launch.
Playing that?
There's like 4 people.
All of it. I
Has
mean,
the PC version come out yet?
It did.
Yeah, it did. I got a copy of it. I've spent maybe like 10 minutes in it total.
Well,
I'm sorry. It's more like an hour, I guess.
Well, following a lackluster preview stream for the upcoming Curse of Osiris expansion, now we can add a scandal on top of it, too.
Oh, good.
Players discovered their XP was being throttled invisibly when grinding a public event repeatedly.
Oh, no!
This wouldn't be a
It's
huge...
rested XP from 14 all over again.
Well, that normally wouldn't be a huge issue, except that after level 20, your XP earns you loot boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Bungie immediately suspended the system.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God, dude.
wow.
Oh, my God. This whole loot box thing is just
It's a poison everywhere it goes.
A wasp's nest.
You said we were done with loot boxes.
We're nowhere near done
No,
with
no, no.
loot
He
boxes.
meant talking on the show. He said
Oh.
that the news, he's like, one more loot box story, then we'll get on to fun stuff, and
Yeah.
you get another loot box
Sorry
story.
about that, yeah.
You lied to us.
Piece of shit.
You know what? From now on, you are EA Joe.
You guys seem like you needed a break, so I gave you Pokemon.
You
I'm
are
sorry.
EA Joe.
Why couldn't we
Joe.
stay on Pokemon? I was happy then.
Everything is awful, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Oh, we're going to talk about Animal Crossing next.
I don't want to talk about Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
No.
can we talk about Pocket Camp?
We're
God
going to.
damn it.
Oh my
His
God.
name is Callie.
No, I want to leave. Damn it.
Wait, I'll give everybody my,
Can you
my
refill
friend
my drink,
code.
Nate? Thank you.
Everyone can have my Pokemon.
Nobody
my
wants your
Pocket
fuck-
Camp friend code.
Oh, I'm going to spaz out here. Okay, hold on.
He's Tourette'ing
You
out.
need to freaking explain this to me, okay? Why is it, even though we've moved away from their shitty DS system and their shitty Wii and Wii U and Switch, why is it, even though now we're on a mobile device, we're still using fucking friend codes? Why?
Because Nintendo has no
Why?
better way of doing it.
Why?
For the
So that-
kiddies.
So
for
that
the kids.
way everyone
for the kids.
can have the same screen name.
For the kids. Yeah, it's a concerted effort to now figure out where, how to connect to people.
And it's not just Nintendo, thank you very much.
because they have kids.
Yu-Gi-Oh! On the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links on the phone also uses a 9-digit number system.
Genius. What the Christ are you drinking?
Coke.
Yeah, so as I was saying,
There's an update.
Nintendo has apologized for the server problems regarding Animal Crossing Pocket Camp as high traffic continues to cause issues with the game for some players. They've offered 20 Leaf tickets, the premium in-game currency to anyone who attempts to log in over the next month. You know, I gotta say, they say there's problems with connecting and logging in, but it didn't stop my girlfriend from playing literally all
I didn't have any
weekend.
problems.
Yeah, I didn't feel any problems either when I played for the half hour.
I was wondering if maybe this is just a thing in Japan, because like my brother, my girlfriend, almost everyone I know is playing this constantly,
It feels
and
like
no one seems to be having problems getting in.
It feels like it loaded a long time. It took a long time to load, but
Well, I guess it's no Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that was broken for a good 2 months before
Because
it got fixed.
so many people wanted to play it. Apparently nobody wants to play this.
Yeah, I'm sure it had nothing to do with their
Wait, do we
7-person
have-
incompetent team.
Do we have Farfetch news on our news?
No, we do not have Farfetch news because no one plays that game anymore.
That's not true. Over the last week, there was a catching thing where worldwide you had to catch 3 billion Pokemon, and we did it.
I
So
can't
now
believe
for
we did
like
it.
48 hours, everybody everywhere can catch a Farfetch. So go.
Yeah, you know what? I really thought this was going to be something where it'd be like, oh no, we're not going to make it. And then at the last minute, like, oh, what a miraculous event. We caught like 1 billion Pokemon and we made it. But no, they gave pretty reliable updates throughout the event showing like where everything was at. And yeah, we got it. Everyone get their Farfetched.
There are apparently more people catching in Pokemon Go than there is in Ultra Sun and Moon because they also have a global catch challenge going on.
Oh, yeah?
For 10 million, going on for 2 weeks. It closes out, I think, tomorrow. And last I checked, we were at like 4.5.
Yeah, but it's a lot easier to
Wow.
catch in Pokemon Go.
thank you very much.
You just like
Callie.
literally,
Okay,
we
but
got out
still.
our Pokemon Go pluses for the first time in ages, and we caught like 1,000 Pokemon.
10 million, 3 billion.
Oh yeah, it's a huge number difference.
It is.
Yeah, I did you go out and catch your Farfetch and your Suicune yet?
Not yet. I mean, I have my what's the
I have
dog
a
called? I thought it was
Suicune.
Suicune.
What? Suicune?
Listen. I've heard like when I was a kid, I called it Suicune. So yeah, I mean,
You know, I think I used to call it that too. It's sweet like water. Sweet
Why
is
are
how
you
you say
kids
water. And then,
retarded?
Okay, well, I got 4 of those yesterday. I went 4 for 4.
that's
And
pretty good.
I haven't seen a Farfetch'd yet, but I'll probably get it within the
but
next
yeah,
week.
they just went out live last night. So I think they're only around for 48 hours. So better
yeah,
look it
there
up.
was like 10 that popped up in my house. They're not a rare spawn.
Ain't got to
If
worry
you're
about
listening to
my...
this on the podcast, they might be gone already.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about Kangaskhan. I got that one already.
Why are you
I
idiots
How
hate
did you
you
get
so
Genghis
much.
Khan?
Because I had a friend log into my account over
In Australia?
No, it was in the UK for that weird...
for that event.
That mall event. Yep.
I hate you so
which
much.
means I also have a Mr. Mime, so...
I hope you
So
don't
now
get
Farfetch is the last region exclusive you need, right?
Sure is.
You'll just need
Fuck you.
Corsola after
Well,
that,
and
right?
Corsola, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Chrysler.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten my Farfetched.
Yeah, well, you got, I think, till tomorrow night.
I've been
to do
keeping
it.
an eye on it.
cares?
Oh, yeah, of course, because Chris isn't involved in this because he can't be the best. That means he doesn't like it. Shut
This
the
game
fuck
is
up.
shit. You guys even said this game is shit.
You know what other game is shit? Yu-Gi-Oh!
You know what we haven't talked about in Pokemon Go? The EX raids and how that is
How
a
it's
big,
awful?
big bunch of shit. Fuck.
Oh, I like them.
The EX raids are a dumpster fire.
Yeah, but we talked about that
Oh,
back
yeah.
when they
My
first came
area.
out.
Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, nothing's
And
changed.
why do you guys still play this game despite that dumpster fire?
Well, because that's only one aspect of the fucking game.
There's still like plenty to do.
Yeah.
Dude, I live in the.
This is like the same shit as loot boxes. You're enabling them.
No,
Yeah, you play Hearthstone, which is slowly fucking you with every expansion that comes out.
I
Oh
stopped.
my
I
God,
stopped.
that's different. That's a card box. That's card packs.
They're loot boxes.
They're card packs.
No, they're the same fucking thing.
It's the same fucking
Same
thing.
fucking thing. Yeah,
Yes,
it's all the
it
same
is.
thing. So you're just as complicit as any of us.
It just happens to be in...
Except Hearthstone is an actual game.
I mean, it's
So
a
is
card
Pokemon
game.
There's
Go.
a competitive aspect to this game, which you guys don't mention on your
Not-
checkpoint.
We talked about
Radio
Hearthstone for
show.
all of like 45 seconds.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen. Not every game has to be competitive.
This is totally competitive. This game,
Have you? Have,
I have more Pokédex entries than Joe does now.
I
I'm
fucking hate him
winning.
for it.
I'm winning.
No, it
That's
isn't.
not.
Not every game.
esports
Listen,
competitive.
not every game has to be competitive.
Dark Souls is, well, I guess it was a little bit with PvP.
PvP.
But not
Yeah.
really competitive. Not for me anyway.
Is FF14 competitive?
There's PvP in that.
Well, yeah, there's PvP,
There's
but you don't.
PvP, and only I'd say, and anyone who's going for world first. But in terms of competition, like FF11 had competition. The 14 does not have.
Yeah,
that.
Hang on.
14's PvP isn't even competitive.
Hang on. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
It's
not
because
really.
to be competitive, when you lose, that you have to lose something. If there's no stakes involved, then it's not. It's overall not competitive. Just because they have leaderboards does not make FF14 competitive. All they're doing is tracking specific matches to be able to put you at rank.
FF14 is like when kids play quote-unquote soccer in like their early years and they just throw a bunch of balls on the field and everyone goes and kicks stuff around.
Dude, think about it. Like, what was
the best game
what
ever.
What purpose does ranked matches serve? They serve to get unique items, and no one wants those unique items. So no one does it. And there's not a competitive scene. There's no competition that has been that has been injected into FF14 at any level. So why does Pokemon Go need to be competitive?
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying Hearthstone is a better game than Pokemon Go because it has a competitive aspect.
I would argue.
Hold.
That doesn't make it a better game.
Throwing that argument out, I'm saying Hearthstone is a game because it has like cards and interactions and decks and all kinds of deck building and all kind of interactions with other players. Pokemon Go is.
Do you have your Farfetch'd yet?
No, I don't care.
No, the aspect of it that makes it a game is the thing that you don't want to do, which is get off your fat fucking ass.
Oh my god!
He wants no. That's really the problem because that's what makes it.
I don't have
shut
to do
the
that.
fuck up.
I don't have to do that. I could just
shut the fuck up. No. Stop trying to get me off my fucking point, you dumb shit. Here's what makes Pokemon Go a game because you have to go out into the world to be able to fill up your decks. You've got to go unless you live in the Safari Zone, unless you're fucking lucky like me, and there's way more people. Which there are way more people like you than there are like me, which actually makes it, that's the unfair aspect, which means that you fat ass have to get up and travel to where I am or where the Pokemon are to be able, shut up, your mic is not even on, you dip. Fucking God, listen for a second. Instead of trying to make your own point. They're both fucking games. They're both games. The fact that one has a competitive aspect does not make it inherently better from the other one.
I've said that, but you confuse me on that. I don't care about that competitive aspect. I'm saying that because you can play with other people and you have like more deck building aspects and stuff, and you can actually play the game, requires thought and stuff, that makes Hearthstone a game.
Oh, okay. All right. So by definition, I guess Final Fantasy VII wasn't a game because you can't play it with other people.
When did I ever say that?
Is that not following the same thread of logic?
No, I never even mentioned another person.
Correct me then.
What you're saying is Pokemon Go is on its whole mindless.
Yeah, it requires no thought, no skill, unless you.
It requires you getting off your stupid fat ass to be able to do it, which you don't want to do, clearly.
Yu-Gi-Oh! has an autoplay option.
So going to the gym is a game. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Do I get points out of it?
I mean, I guess if you have a fitness app.
If we were doing the Wii Fit.
Look at
the Wii Fit into a game.
Is my fitness app a game because I get points?
Yeah.
Does it have literally the definition of a game is does it have a fail state?
I mean, does that
have
make
a win
it
state and a fail state?
But that's not even true because there are games that don't have permanent fail states anymore. The fail state is variable, right? The fail state in something like Dark Souls is fair, right? That's the balanced part of it.
Well, the fail state is just death. Where's
the fail state in FF14?
I would say that the fail state is still death. It's not as punishing.
It's resetting, and it's incrementally having your durability wear down on your gear. But if you have a crafting job, you can work around that.
The fail state's not punishing, but there is a fail state.
What's really the consequence for death? What's really the consequence for failure?
If we want to talk to the Merriam definition of a game, activity engaged in for diversion or amusement.
Oh,
that's all it takes.
Okay.
Well, then,
if
going to the
something
gym,
amuses you or distracts you, it's a game.
So what you're arguing, Juxta, is if it's a video game.
I'll argue that
Hearthstone
is a good game and Pokemon Go is a bad game.
I'm just going to point out that same argument rotated around Gamergate of what constitutes a video game and what doesn't constitute a video game. Because people saw things like Dear Esther or Depression Quest and flipped the fuck out and goes, that's not a video game! That's not a video game!
Yeah,
right? Am I right or am I wrong?
It was years ago, but I do remember people losing their shit over that. That's a narrative story.
Look, really, Juxta, all you have to admit is that you became disenfranchised with it. You don't have fun anymore with it, and that's fine, but that doesn't mean that we can't still enjoy it.
Right.
But visual novels can count as games, though.
Yeah, not on the same level, but as something that I can just open up and catch some stuff, or if a new thing comes out.
Dude,
yeah.
A game, listen, the goal of Pokemon Go was never to have it up all the time on your phone, because no one can operate their phone anymore. If that's the case, they've got to get a second phone. No one is going to do that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say no one is going to do that.
Some guy hit level 40 real quick.
The only people that did that are the people who show up to raids with 3 phones and you go, who the fuck are you and what are you doing? And those are the people who have problems with self-control. We were all into it when it started, but no game is meant to be played 24/7 and not and at the expense of all other things, right? Like but that's sort of what we expect with an MMO, because we've wanted to put in long-term investment to an MMO. And now that we have MMOs with quicker dev cycles and that they've got to keep up with other games, that, our expectations can't be met, I think, as gamers, either by Square-Enix or a lot of these other companies, because there were different punishments for death in different games. You know what the punishment for death in Ultima Online was?
Lost all your shit.
You lost all your shit that you had on you, unless everyone has a bank. There's a public bank that you can put your stuff in, and that way it won't get ganked. And you can make houses in that world, and in there you have a protected space for your stuff. And now we can do that with graphics engines like you can with Age of Conan. So someone is going to need to figure out what that sweet spot in between Ultima Online and Age of Conan is to be able to deliver the next phase of MMOs. And I think that might be Ashes of Creation.
Could be.
It
We're
might be.
so hopeful.
I could be wrong, but it could be Ashes of Creation.
Fingers crossed. Well, we'll probably never know what actually went into the unusually amicable split between Square Enix and IO Studios earlier this year. Square CEO Yosuke Matsuda did say that one of the reasons they didn't contest IO's rights to the Hitman franchise was that, quote, I believe it wouldn't be Hitman unless it was Hitman by IO. While IO did get the rights to Hitman, they will no longer be allowed to work on Kane and Lynch sequels.
Square Enix thinks that the IP is dead.
That's what that means. I agree. It wouldn't be Hitman unless it's Hitman by IO. What corporation has ever said that ever, if
Never.
they cared?
No, they just think that they can't fuck its corpse for money.
Kinda, yeah.
Sorry to be that blunt about it, but that is exactly what's happening. I mean, when you talk about these mergers of these studios, you do understand that once they're acquired, that there's now cost cutting measures in place that where the people who were running the actual company couldn't see where to take those losses. EA is not. EA doesn't care. EA doesn't care about the people that it just absorbed, and it'll fire anyone that it wants to, because it's EA and they don't care. Square Enix now does the same thing. Square Enix is the Japanese EA.
I don't know.
They're on their way. They're on their way.
I don't think they're there yet. EA has been consistently voted like the worst company in out of all companies that exist, not just gaming companies. I don't think Square Enix is quite there, and that was even before this loot box shit.
But they're on their way.
Their business model is identical. Their business models are identical.
They're getting there. I mean, absorb a ton of small publishers, use the ones you can, shutter the ones you can't.
Yep.
And their DLC microtrans strategy is picking up. There are a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
They don't have the track record that EA has had.
No.
I mean, EA's got 30 years of garbage under
Here's
their
the
belt.
thing. They're Japanese EA, and they're 2 steps behind EA, but they're adapting the EA model. That's why the conversation around loot boxes, around microtransactions, DLC, free to play, pay to win are so important. And we've been in this the weird thing is that we've been a part of this conversation conversation for the better part of 10 years across 10 years across the spectrum of all of our shows. And we've been speaking out against microtransactions, cash shop items, even cosmetic items being put into things like MMOs, because we realize how much it upsets the balance of the economy that exists. It upsets the balance of the game incentive that exists, because the best stuff is hidden behind a paywall. That goofy fucking and here's the real thing. That goofy fucking Nika Blart Mall Cop item. If there was an Overworld NM that dropped that, people would be camping that shit for 3 fucking years.
Absolutely.
For 3 years until everyone who wanted it got it and moved on. But no, instead they went, yeah, we can get people to fork over money for that. And they did it. And I think that, now they've got to reap the consequences of what they've sown. And Square-Enix now has a really difficult decision, because they're starting to see the other side of loot boxes. They're starting to see the other side of microtransactions. And everyone is starting to see why that shit is problematic in an online game environment. And now that's forcing the conversation of are loot boxes gambling?
Yep.
And it is my opinion that yes, they are. It's gambling that's marketed towards children. And that's wrong, because listen, as adults, we can sort of navigate the world of gambling. We can do that cost-benefit analysis. But if there's a kid who really wants that one fucking item, he's going to beg, borrow, and steal until he gets the fucking resources to get that item.
Right. As adults, we have a concept of what $50 is, but $50 out of mom's purse is very different.
And therein lies one of the big differences between Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV. Because Final Fantasy XI was a game that fundamentally treated its audience like adults, right? They said, listen, if you can't do it, if you can't get the item, fuck you. That's on you. And that's on your time investment. That's why they had to have that disclaimer at the beginning of FF11, like, hey, if this ruins your life, that's your fucking fault.
Never forget your friends, your family, your work, or whatever it was.
And why?
Yeah, I did say that every time.
Yeah.
And why? Why was that included?
It was in there as their disclaimer against everything.
No!
No?
It was in there because Sony got dragged through court after they put out EverQuest. Because people were going, I don't have self-control, and they're adults, right? And they're going, hey, I don't have self-control, and your game is at fault. And every time the courts have gone, yeah, no, that's your own responsibility. But the video game companies realized the financial opportunity that exists and took it. And they took it slowly enough that we didn't even notice, because every game became connected. Now it's a part of first-player games. It's essentially first-player games, and now it's actually something that matters, because it's taking money out of our wallets to be able to do it. That's the difference. There's the difference between your game genies and a fucking, a microtrans, or having a code to unlock a piece of, whatever, and having a microtrans item is the $5 that it costs us. And there are some of us who can go, yeah, I can live without it. But there are those that do not have self-control.
Yep.
Let's be real here. There are people who absolutely do not have the power of self-control. And they're adults now. And they can, and
they
if they
still
can,
don't have that power.
And if they can't identify that behavior, then we need to, as voices within this community, and say, listen, there's got to be some protections against them, because these companies, we've seen these whales come out and spend $15,000, and we see that and we go, well, that's clearly a rich person that has too much money. No,
is it?
Or is it? That could be, as we had identified last week, that could be some kind of, wiki company that has more resources at its disposal, trying to figure out RNG, percentages.
It does still happen, though. I knew a person who got a sizable inheritance when a relative died and blew it all on a mobile game.
And that's the thing, is that there's a confluence of things, because we've been, as a generation, economically depressed for 10 years longer than we should. There was a legitimate economic depression, and we couldn't get out there and find jobs. And so we went out and found jobs and made jobs for ourselves, playing video games on the internet, or, YouTube, starting YouTube channels and finding an audience. And media has basically kept us out of the media by not hiring us. And so we went and created our own media. But that shit's a bubble. Nothing can exist outside of the larger system. That's what a fucking bubble is. And bubbles don't work. They always burst at some point. So, I mean, if we're going to
Nintendo.
I mean, if we're going to be real about this, then look at the actual economic factors that are happening, not just in our own little sphere of influence and our own little sphere of conversation, but look at it in the wider picture, man.
Well, and look at it, like, who is terrified in this generation right now is casinos, because millennials do not go to casinos. Like, our generation, we do not go there. It's just... they're terrified of it. We don't ever gamble, except do we?
I was gonna say, we always, because and this a realization I just made with myself that I kind of always knew was there. But yeah, you're right. I don't go to casinos because anytime I've ever been, I give them $40 and I walk out with nothing.
Yes.
I don't have the money to gamble. But apparently I have the money to get all the Halloween skins from Overwatch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing, is that we are incentivized differently, right? Like, we get something out of that exchange, right? That's why this is gambling, right? If you win at gambling, you get something out of that exchange. It's called fucking money. You get money back. We're not even getting money back. We're getting digital fucking items that we've given value. We gave that shit value.
And I have a legendary card now that will make my deck win.
The gaming industry has found a way to make gambling work, but in this case, they don't have to pay anything out and they get everything. Even when we're, quote-unquote, winning and, quote-unquote, getting what we want, we're still just giving them money.
Listen. We, those that have been listening to Limit Break Radio for a long time, and I'm going to assume that that's the majority of you, you already know that we've identified the problem of incentive, that since everything is fair across the board, there's no incentive towards anything. I think Square-Enix is moving towards loot boxes in Final Fantasy XIV to get high-powered items, because we identified for so long the value in that. So if the RNG chance exists at 99 cents a pop, how many people you think are going to take it to get that shortcut to endgame? They'll put it into endgame, but they'll also put it into loot boxes
I'd be so pissed if that was a thing.
Hang on. No, shut up. What, Nico, what was that?
I would be really pissed if that became a thing.
I think all of us would be
okay with that.
I can see your line of logic, but depending on how the current situation right now with what's going on between, the different governments around the world and the gaming industry, depending on how that shakes out, that could have to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, we've been sitting here trying to hand signal. I'm saying cut the last two stories, dipshit. We're into the final conversation.
Yep, got it.
God. It's like we've never done hand signals before.
To be
Fuck's
fair,
sake.
Kelly, I never understand what his hand signals mean either, so I just...
Well, he's always just flipping you off. Every time it's fuck you.
I don't have to communicate to you, because mostly it's shut the fuck up, and I can communicate that with my eyes, or I can just shut you up with the mic.
All right, so here's my question for you guys now. Does anyone else feel kind of strange, and I want to know if you think it's a good strange or a dirty strange, that you're kind of sitting on the government side right now?
Dirty.
Oh, it's dirty.
Oh, it's dirty.
And you're like, yeah, you know what? You teach them video game companies a lesson.
Because and you know what that is?
Because we're being exploited.
Well, and if I'm honest, it's because I trust the government more to step in and fix this than I do my fellow gamers to vote with their wallet.
And
I don't trust them to do it.
But here's the thing: you guys had, and Robbie, I think you had said this earlier, is that we as a generation, have not been supporting things like casinos.
No.
We don't go to casinos. We kind of don't go to Vegas. We haven't had the money to do that. But it's not that we haven't had money. We've been saving up money. A lot of people in our generation are smarter with their money than our parents were.
Because we don't have a lot of
because our parents and people who are slightly older got tricked into buying mortgages that they couldn't afford. And so they had to work 60 hours to be able to pick up the slack on those mortgages. And we saw that and we went, yeah, but I don't want to work 60 hours a week. I also want to be able to do the things that I love, like engage in media and the entertainment. Shut the fuck up, Robbie. Jesus Christ. Fuck, that we want to engage in media with the rest of everyone else. And dude, like, we are doing that, and now that same gambling chance is being rolled into our media, and the cost is being sloughed off on us too. It's not, listen, it is in the most literal sense gambling. There is no clearer way to put that. What, Robbie, what?
I was going to say, we might not have bought the mortgages, but we got the student loans.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no,
I'd say that's pretty equal value there.
We got fucked in a lot of ways, but yeah, you're right. We didn't buy into mortgages, and I'll tell you what, the generation behind us, how many of them are passing on college and doing trade schools? Like, it's the same principle. We saw our parents get burned on mortgages, and we chose not to do housing.
There's a kid that works at Levi's that has been there, I think, 2 years, and he's making more a year than I am now because he went to a trade school for 2 months.
Yeah, one of my best friends in the world, Chase, he dropped out of college after one semester and instead went to go work for a credit card processing company, learned coding on his own time, and is now a computer programmer for them without a college degree.
Yeah. We didn't need college. I mean, honestly, college was sold to us going like, hey, this is what you're going to need to be successful.
Yep.
And then we got to college and half of it was still teaching us like how to fucking build cars from 1970. And it's like, why? Like, there are some colleges, like, you know, some of us went to Central Michigan. And when I went through it, they were teaching me the fundamentals of broadcasting, but it was 10 years ago. Sure. They hadn't caught up. They hadn't really caught up. Dude, I actually took a class where they taught me how to spool a reel-to-reel.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Why?
You paid for that.
I paid for that. And the thing is that I'm really glad that I got that education, because now that everything has started to catch up to where we were when we were going through college, we have lost sight on the ethics of broadcasting. And because broadcasting has been taken from these ivory tower institutions, radio stations, TV stations, and that technology has been democratized, and now we've got Twitch and live stream and all of that, and the bandwidth to be able to support it. Now, here's where the net neutrality conversation comes in.
Yeah.
Because there's now an intrinsic value, because we're all broadcasters. Now there's an intrinsic value to the data that we use, and the fucking ISPs know it.
Yes, and this is what's going to get ugly. Like, you actually have to resist vomiting when you watch Comcast come out and say, like, oh, we're not going to abuse this. Go to hell.
Bullshit.
If
you're not going to abuse it, then why do you need it?
Just to have.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually turns your stomach when you look at it and you go, like, you are lying to my face.
Yeah.
And you expect me to believe it.
Yeah.
And I don't. Like, I've had Comcast service now for the better part of, 5-10 years?
5 years.
I know well enough how this is going to play out.
Mm-hmm. I actually want to come back to something that you said a few minutes ago, Callie, about how that gamers. It was in regards to what the government's doing, because we gamers can't do it ourselves.
Yeah, I trust government more than I trust my fellow gamer.
Okay, but to be fair, you need to give a little bit of credit to us, because the outrage over the Battlefront is kind of, I think, what finally pushed this, and that was because people aren't buying it. Well,
Okay,
hold on. No, I don't want to say people, because Callie bought it.
I did.
But
Callie's not people.
yeah, he's 60% sales compared to Battlefront 1, which everyone knows was a horrendous disaster.
Yes.
Battlefront 2 sales were down 60% compared to Battlefront 1. So gamers absolutely...
And Battlefront 1 was already not that great of a game.
Absolutely voted with their feet.
I get that,
Except
but here's
for
the
you.
thing, though. Like, that's the one time. I've watched time and time again people get away with this shit. And you're right, this one, because Star Wars was such a major IP, it got enough mainstream coverage that people finally said, no, fuck that.
But the important thing to take away from this is that we do have power. So many of us specifically, on multiple episodes across multiple shows, said, nothing we can do, guys. There's nothing we can do. They're here to stay.
Right.
We're fucked. And then it turns out, no, actually, there is stuff that we can do, and we have to remember that.
It can be done. I just know that when it's an IP that isn't as big as Star Wars, the demand won't be there. Like Lord of the Rings didn't get that many people up there, and people love Lord of the Rings,
but
not like Star Wars.
But now that it's happened, now that the government is involved, now we could end up being burnt just based on the fact that the government could end up taking too much control, okay? But, I mean, you're right. We can only do so much. It is going to be incumbent on someone else, such as the government, to do something for us because they're the only ones who can actually exert power over the industry because, of course, the industry is not going to do it themselves.
It needed to be the ESRB, but it's not the mid-90s anymore, and the ESRB is not what it once was.
And that's the thing is that the ESRB is kind of like our last, was kind of like our last hope on that because...
And they let us down hard.
And they did. And I think that's a really, really problematic aspect to this whole conversation is that the people who should be, helping influence this decision are kind of asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, the ESRB was Boromir at the end of the first movie when he tried to take the ring.
Didn't go well? I mean...
Now we have to kill him.
Oh.
No.
No?
But here's the... It can't... Listen, it doesn't have to be that extreme. It doesn't have to be that extreme. It doesn't have to be ESRB or nothing, and it doesn't have to be government intervention or nothing.
True.
We can be self-policing. We have been self-policing in the past because the game companies were smart enough to get out in front of it. And the question is, are the game companies, because they're the ones that actually talk to Congress, they're the ones that are going to be pulled in front of Congress if this goes to Congress, that... are they going to be able to justify these decisions well enough? And if we as lifelong game fans can't justify the decision or are having trouble seeing their justification for it, then I think that is going to be a huge problem.
You know what, Callie? And here's where I think if it gets to that point, this is where we as gamers come in again because obviously... You're right. The industry wants to make so much money, and that's going to be one of their justifications is, well, how are we supposed to make money then if you're not going to let us do this? Do we up the price of our games? And it's incumbent then on us, because Congress isn't going to have the foresight to do this, to tell them maybe what you need to do is start cutting the cost of your games. You don't need to spend $600 million to make a game.
And that's what the indie game movement is all about. That's what the indie game movement at its core is really all about, is by going like, look, these game types that you guys have been ignoring and saying that we as gamers are moving on from, maybe in terms of a mass audience, but you don't need a mass audience to be able to pull off a successful game. Bravely Default made a ton of money.
What's the recent Souls type one, Hellsuna or something like that?
Senua's Hellblade.
Hellblade.
Senua's Sacrifice. I actually started playing a little bit of that.
That's the role that we as gamers are going to end up playing in the next year, I think. I think Hawaii said that their legislation, which is only on the state level, they have no federal backing yet, is going to start coming into play. So, yeah, that's what we do is we have to let them know, because if they try and come out with 70, 80, 90, 100. If I have to buy a single game and it costs as much as a third of a Switch does, walking with my feet again.
Well, absolutely. But there is the element of the indie game movement that has shown us, like, listen, not every game needs to be the highest end, but there is always going to be a market for that. People you're going to have a period, like, let's say that happens and we go very indie for a while. There's going to be a little bit of an attrition period and people are going to go like, man, I want something that just blows my socks off again. There's going to be that desire. And if we are moving away from loot boxes, if we're actually moving away, guys, we got to be real on this. The era of $60 for a game is over.
Yeah.
And whether it is because the base cost of the game has gone up or because we are paying for extra in microtransactions, the era of $60 is over. So that's what are you prepared to pay, $79.99?
I am if so basically, like, I am not a fan of loot boxes, but I don't mind fully functional, like, multi-hour downloadable DLC.
Sure.
So my thing is that if all of that DLC comes with the game and it's $100 game, absolutely I'll buy it, because it's to me, because you know what you're getting. It's a full fucking finished game with all of the DLC they're planning to add later, and you know exactly what it is up front, and it's the full price up front. I would be much more happy to pay $100 for a game, knowing that.
And that's for me, that goes both ways too. If you want to keep charging me $69.99, but you lay out what exactly your DLC plan is from the word go, you can do that too.
Yes, and that's the thing. It comes down to communication, and it also comes down to communicating with your audience very clearly.
It's become a very opaque industry, and that's really what's going to have to change here. Is we need a level of transparency again.
And I think part of that is because 8-hour games and 60-hour games were both valued at $60, and the expectation was that the 6 or 10-hour campaign game also had multiplayer to keep you playing. And now we're seeing multiplayer, only $40 price tags, and that's where DLC makes financial sense. When your game is $60 and then you're coming to me again in microtrans, but it's under the guise of being cosmetic only. I think that really does not ring true for a lot of us, because we're like, listen, the cosmetics was a real incentive for me to be able to grind content. And the other side of that is that the content process, designing the content process, needs to be much more streamlined. One of the breaks that I've got to be able to give Square-Enix, especially with Final Fantasy XIV, is that game looks head and shoulders better than any other MMO I've ever seen. And that development cost that's a value.
It's not negligible.
It's not nothing.
Yeah.
And because they had to go back and retool it from the 1.0, I do believe that at one point those microtrans items were put in there to be able to make up the difference of the losses that they incurred for 1.0. And when they make that up, and they need to be very clear about this, when they make that up, it's time for the cash up to go away. Or it's time for
it's not gonna go away.
It's time for the subscription to go away. And that's what I think is way more likely to fall away. What they did was they put out a premium game for 1.0, got people to pay monthly for it, put out a better game with 2.0, got people to still pay monthly for it because, hey, World of Warcraft does it, but they have actual content. And, this looks better than World of Warcraft, by the way, so you're not going to have to look at cartoons. And people went, okay, yeah, that's a reason for me to shell out $60. And then they played it and got to the end and was like, okay, now it's just looping content over and over again, liked it for 6 months and moved the fuck on. That's what we've seen. That's the pattern of behavior for your average FF14 player. And sometimes they'll come back for expansions, and WoW did that for 4 fucking years. So FF14, is definitely on the clock for when do they do what WoW did and start focusing less on creating the assets to be able to make a new dungeon and then creating content that randomizes those assets. It's a copy-paste process somewhere, and they've got to cut cost somehow. I understand that, but for the people who've been playing it and been trying to play it as an MMO, in the old school sense of the MMO, have burnt out really quickly. And I think that's where you got the perspective that drove a lot of Limit Break Radio.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at 14 today, if you try to sit there and play it for any extended period of time, and Yoshi has been actually very upfront about that. He's like, this is not a game I expect you to play day in and day out. I mean, he's been pretty, I think, transparent about that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
it's got a monthly subscription cost, and that's the real problem.
Right, but when I am paying a monthly subscription cost, I expect to be able to play it every day.
And we know that that's fundamentally unsustainable.
Yeah. I don't know if they will ever pull the trigger on killing the sub cost.
No, they have to. They have to.
It'll go optional, because if there are people willing to pay it, they're gonna take
they're gonna go the ESO route, because ESO didn't cave under that, and they
were route.
And they were a much younger product. They had to.
They did that within a few months of launch.
Yes, exactly, because they had to, because they knew that their appeal was limited. No one is going to be able to hit the critical mass that WoW hit ever, and no one is ever even going to be coming close, because so many people got exposed to what an MMO is fundamentally through World of Warcraft, and there were enough of them that like it that there's like an audience to sustain 2, maybe 3 total MMOs in the market that have a subscription cost, so that you've got the big one, you've got the alternative, and then you've got the alternative's alternative.
Yes, you've got World of Warcraft, No, we were the alternative. It was EverQuest, and then FF11 was the third one.
EverQuest 2 died so quickly.
Yeah, it really did. Was FF11 the alternative? I guess we kind of were.
In that dichotomy?
Yeah.
In that one, it was.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it was.
Yeah.
Right now, I think
you're right.
14 is the alternative. And then something like Blade and Soul is the alternative's alternative.
Although I think the alternative now would be ESO.
Yeah.
Or Tor.
Yeah, no. I think you're right, because it has that successful hybrid model, and it's still a very good game. Like, the thing about ESO is that, people very much like it. It's not Blade and Soul that, people were like, this is an okay game, but I don't give a shit about this world or anything in it. Like, I do think that an MMO at this point needs to be fundamentally attached to an existing IP to be successful. That's my only concern with Ashes of Creation. That's what I think will hold it back. I think they've got a brilliant idea, and if they could find a great IP to attach themselves to, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones.
I also
Song
think,
of Ice and Fire, motherfucker.
That the only time you can get over that hump, when and not having an IP to attach yourself to, is if you really latch onto something such as how disenfranchised that people with the MMO genre altogether are. If enough people go to that, and it is what they've been craving this whole time, they've just basically launched their IP to the level that they need.
Yes, exactly. If you can brand yourself as here's the landing spot for disaffected MMO players of the last 30 years, you don't need an IP. Actually, having an IP will almost taint that a little bit.
That's
the
true.
Game of Thrones IP is where you go if you don't like other MMOs. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
But if you're like, no, we're the ones who are made by 90s and 2000s MMO players, and that's the kind of game we wanted.
Yeah, that's fair. But is there enough to be able to sustain it?
Is there enough to sustain it? And is there enough that you'll get enough mainstream coverage to reach enough people?
That too.
But that's the same stuff that we're asking about some of our current MMOs, so are they really at a disadvantage?
You're not wrong.
Yeah. No, I think that you're right. I think that the model has been very unclear, and that FF14, while we're frustrated that it's not WoW, we've also got to be, we've also got to admit that WoW had like 7 years on top of it at that point. Like,
and WoW also had a long bad period too.
Well, that's true. Like,
WoW's gone through its own growing pains. Yeah,
but because Warcraft is such an endearing IP that people jumped on it and knew it enough from, the free distributed copies of Warcraft 3 or their cracked versions that they got from their friends. Enough of them knew that about the world to be able to be like, oh, I'm going to play this. And like, that's like when we were in college, dude, I mean, there's a lot, dude. Tribalism is a big buzzword these days, right? And the thing is that there is some truth to that. I think, I think there is some truth to like our generation and our focus on tribalism, because I think it started with Gen X, and then it was sort of projected onto millennials.
We just called it clicks.
Well, because millennials was like, I don't like labels, man. Yeah. And that's
even though we all just had labels.
But that's exactly what tribalism is. And we all grew up enough with things like PCU and, Revenge of the Nerds and stuff like that boxed people into different categories. Clueless did it too. Clueless was the girls' version of this. That put people into boxes that when they got called out on either being a part of that box or having been a part of that box in the past, that they would get super defensive. Dude, for fucking years, I was like, man, if I get called an emo kid for some reason,
I'm punk.
there was
like a huge thing with high school. Like, I had a whole group of friends that consider themselves the non-conformists because they hated the label so much. It's like you were like a punk or an emo or a goth or a prep or a jock or, you were one of those things.
Exactly. But in a high school environment, there ends up only being one punk, one goth, one dude who's into hip hop, one guy who's like, people are one nerd, and the kid that everyone's afraid is going to shoot up the school one day, right?
And then everyone else is that amorphous blob in the middle.
Right. And then we go out into the world and we find our own tribes, right? And we go to punk rock shows, and we go to goth shows, and we go home and play video games, and we all sort of felt like outcasts. And even on the other side of that, the jocks had their own system, because that was the dichotomy when I was in high school. It was either you were a nerd or a jock, right?
Yeah.
And the jocks had their own hierarchy where they had the preppies and they had the
Of course they did.
There was the gamer jock.
The gamer jocks. You had guys. You had girls. You had the girl version of this that were like the gossip queens and the queen bees. That's what Mean Girls was all about. And kind of breaking those barriers, starting to break those barriers down, starting to have those conversations. And now guess what? We're all adults and we can't show up to fucking work wearing our punk rock gear or our goth gear anymore. And we've got to fucking shed some of that self-identity. That's what Gamergate was all about. Gamergate was fucking, hey, there's a real problem of you guys harassing women, and people like fucking walling that out and going, well, we're gamers and this is really about games journalism. And no, it wasn't. It was about a lot of different things. Let's be honest about that. Let's be real.
So many aspects.
Let's be real about that.
You can even say it started with games journalism, but the fact is that conversation also revolved around a woman. And so then it went down to harassing the woman.
Exactly. Because there was an element of games journalism in that conversation that, when
which
people...
is a legitimate conversation.
Right. When people like that, because I think... I don't know. Should I talk about this? I don't know if I should, because
can you talk about it in about 4 minutes?
We can go over because we've got a shorter podcast today because we don't have.
All right, you know what? We're being real, so do it.
No. We're being. Hang on. Okay, so your cousin, right?
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah. Okay. He and I used to be a lot closer. Like we used to, tweet at each other and stuff like that. And he had kind of talked more about Gamergate when it was happening.
Yeah.
And so I think in my head, I characterized him as a Gamergater.
Well, and I mean, I've talked to him about it, at length.
Yeah.
And
because he defended some of the tenets in there, and he defended the stuff that's actually worth defending, which is, hey, listen, there is a fucking problem in games journalism now.
I mean, to this day, if you ask him about it, he will tell you. He's like, no, what went down with The Escapist was utter bullshit at that time, and he does defend it from that aspect.
But here's the problem: is that and this is what I think we were all kind of not understanding, is that, dude, when you get right down to it, the problem there is the money. And that's what people were identifying, that the money and I think that the subtext of the Zoe Quinn thing, that the money and sex being exchanged for the way that people write about games, that's a fucking problem. And you know what? It is. But it didn't need to go to, you're a whore, you're a slut, you should you should fucking die,
and
someone should throw you in a fucking pit.
If we have a problem with
and
games
I know Kyle would agree with you on that.
Yes, if it was a problem with games journalism, and part of it was, the way you go about fixing that isn't to act like fucking jackals.
Right, exactly. Because what kind of conversation does that create? It creates a conversation where even the most reasonable people willing to talk about the problems shut their ears and wall out the conversation because they don't know who to trust anymore. And now suddenly the people who looked like friends don't look so much like friends. And we've been so tribalist that when we get challenged on an idea, we start to freak out and we start to panic. And that's
when you also get surprised because you're with people who have been in your tribe, and then when someone has a differing opinion, you're like, oh, you're in the other camp.
But here's the thing, okay? Our parents have been doing this for so long because they hear video games and they tune out, right? Mario is like the same cultural touchstone for us that the Beatles was for them.
Sure.
And that's a really big deal. And the fact that some of them are slow to recognize that fact because, they start to feel not hip and not with it when their kids are doing something different. And so instead of being parents, they want to become their friends because they don't want to be left behind. That was a big part of the psychology of the baby boomers for a long time. And then they figured, oh, there's Facebook. We can all kind of keep up on this together. And that's what, when we dreaded our parents joining Facebook, that's what that was. That's what that feeling was. Like, God,
I remember that, yeah.
Now I have to be careful of what I say. And the thing is I think that we've gone to different social media platforms to try to get our parents out of our conversation. And what we should be doing is we should be including our parents in the conversation and recognizing when they get frustrated when we start talking about technology and video games, because that's where they tap out.
Not to mention, that's what adults do. They include people and talk the shit out.
Yes, and you know what? That's how you really prevent from ruining Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, man. Yeah, how was everyone's Thanksgiving? Holy crap.
I know.
It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Only one time did Grandma try to bring up kneeling during the anthem, and we got through that real quick.
Apparently, and this didn't happen this year, but I guess at one of Chris's Thanksgiving dinners, somebody choked somebody out.
Christmas.
Oh, Christmas.
Yeah, it was...
What?
My uncle choked my dad over my dad asking the score to a bowling card game.
Is this an in-law thing, or is this your dad's brother?
Brother.
Wow.
Born on the same day, by the way.
It all comes back to card games.
It's always been card games.
And it always will be.
I'm so confused.
This is where I get it from.
Well, so like your uncle and your dad were playing like Pinochle or something, and
Yeah, it was like it's this weird like indie like bowling card game, like a card game that has like a bowling aspect to it, and like bowling theme. Sorry, not
sure, yeah.
But yeah, like I guess like tensions were high, because my uncle really hates his sister, and she was being super annoying, and like it just
Man, that's
it's just a
And
tipping point.
then your dad pulled one of those. Oh, bro, I can't see
Yeah.
the score from over there. Could you
No.
give me an update on what it is?
No, it was what's the score right now? And that just tipped him off.
Oh, so he wasn't even like
No,
like
it wasn't-
bragging about it.
It was not provocative or anything.
Oh
it was
my
just, It
gosh.
was just looking for the score.
And your uncle, wow.
your family's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
And-
They're
and-
dysfunctional, but they know it.
But the thing is that, like, a lot of us come from dysfunctional families.
Oh, yeah.
And not all of us come from dysfunctional families that have been torn apart by divorce either, to clearly recognize that they're dysfunctional.
Ah, that's an important aspect of it.
Yeah.
Everyone has the dysfunction. You just might not realize it yet.
Yeah, that's the thing is, and the thing is that some of us can actually talk to our fucking parents.
Yep.
Oh,
The worst thing that happened at our Thanksgiving last year was me and my sister cut a piece of pumpkin pie out of the center of the pie.
That's such a good joke.
I know.
That's
you
blasphemy.
monsters.
You don't do that. That's blasphemy.
Or like you get a big sheet of Rice Krispie treats, you should take one from the middle. Pisses them off so much. Or brownies.
But a pie doesn't have pieces in the middle.
Nope. Sure doesn't.
Yeah,
At least the Rice Krispie treat does have pieces in the middle.
Nice. I like it. So I think we've hit on something kind of interesting on this episode. A lot of really interesting things, I think.
A lot of heated topics.
Yes, a lot of heated topics. I don't know what's up with your microphone because
I don't know. I'm not doing anything.
I know you're not. That
Do you
may
have
that
your
may
lips
be
on it?
that may be the channel. That may be we may need a new board.
We can't afford all this.
I know. I've got more boards. We'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Audio man something, please. Are you an
See,
audio crafter?
This is why I like New and Nero. Instead of being like, well, you better figure something out because I need a new board, he's like, you know what, we got this.
Okay, then here's the thing. If you don't want to buy a new board, you have to stop shouting into the microphone.
I thought you wanted me to be loud.
I do want you to be loud, but what did I explain before the show? That when you're loud, you need to back off.
Back off. Okay. So back off.
Dude. There's people who listen to the podcast are going to be like, "Whoa," because you're gonna peak the shit. You're all over the place.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to keep.
These are very sensitive microphones. You blew what you're hearing is you've blown the channel.
Stop blowing the channel.
Because and there's nothing that we can do about that. The only thing that fixes that is a new board.
Oh.
You did that. You did that just by.
Did I do that, or did you do that by telling me to keep my mouth close to the microphone?
When you talk, when you yell.
I can only do one thing at a time.
That's why, dude. Do you understand that when I argue with you, that's literally why I have to mute you? That's why we've been muting you for fucking like 6 years. Is I'm trying to prevent blowing the goddamn channel.
Oh,
and we've tried to make it into a joke.
I thought it was because you didn't like me.
No.
Well,
it's
that might be
because
part
it's
of
because
it.
you need to have better mic proximity skills. You can move this thing. It's got a shock. Move it. It doesn't make a whole lot of noise.
Yep,
when you
I
move
can't hear it at all.
Oh, I'm always scared of
move.
moving.
No, move the mother. Why do you think we paid the money for the shock mounts?
Because it's cool. You can move it however you want.
Yes.
But not during a show.
No, here's what you need to do, okay? If you don't want to move because you're too fat to make it happen, okay, what you need to do is you need to move the microphone. So if you're going to be yelling, you need to move it away from your mouth like this.
New board for Nate.
Oh,
how much was that?
$30.
Not enough for a new board, but a nice donation.
It's a good start,
It's a
though.
start.
It is a start.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
Thank you so
Ryuko.
much.
And that's the thing, dude. When we're shouting, when we get excited, we've got to back off and then learn to come back in. You blew the channel today. I hope that it's not permanent.
Gay.
I hope it's not permanent. Because if it's permanent, I may hold you responsible for it.
We'll have to start garnishing your pay. Yeah, he's the accountant. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. We'll see how that works.
All right, guys. It's 3:00, which means that we can actually wrap this on time.
Wow, go us!
How'd that work out?
You remember when you asked if we can fit it in 6 seconds?
We got it done.
We got it done. See,
very impressive.
Yeah,
I am very impressed.
This is what happens.
Good job,
Listen,
guys.
I just want to point out that this is what happens when people communicate.
And we had enough time to scold Chris even.
I know, right?
I didn't like that part.
But here's the thing, dude. We've been trying to make jokes with our family and with our parents for so long that include things that they don't want to hear, which is sometimes asses and fucks and bullshits, and because listen, they still want us to be their kids, and they want us to clean up our fucking language when we do the thing.
I made a joke to my mom over Thanksgiving about how much marijuana my brother is smoking.
See?
That is not something I ever expected to make. That is not a joke I ever thought I would get to make without getting my ass reamed out.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to know this, so don't tell my mom.
Okay.
But apparently she was a big pot smoker, like maybe growing up or maybe before. I'm not quite sure, but I never knew that, and apparently my sister knows that, and like my sister and my mom talk about
Are you
my mom
referring
smoking.
to friend of the show, Mama Position?
That's right.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
right.
Yes,
All
I
right.
forgot about that.
It actually doesn't surprise me for some
Listen,
reason.
our lunch is here, which
All
means
right.
that we do have to wrap this up. Somebody needs to go possibly let him in, so please go downstairs if someone would. Someone would like to volunteer? All right, that's
Robbie's
great.
job.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in and for hanging out. You guys are awesome, and we've been driving at something here that I think is really cool, and we've said it a whole bunch of times, and that's let's be real. And you know what that shares in common?
With something else we do?
With something else that we do. It's LBR. That's right. So listen, if you're an LBR fan and you've enjoyed this discussion, make sure to hashtag let's be real on some of your loot box discussions.
Yeah, or just anytime you're having a real discussion, when it's not fluff.
Yeah.
If you're having a conversation that maybe isn't the easiest to have, go ahead and drop that hashtag let's be real on it.
And here's the thing, we've been doing Final Encounter Cast now for 88 episodes, right?
Yeah, we're old.
I know. And I think 88 episodes, we've laid a really good foundation. But our stuff hasn't really kind of congealed into a cohesive brand.
No, I would say probably not.
Okay. So I think what we might do is I think we should call this the Let's Be Real podcast.
LBR.
LBR again?
LBR again.
We're going to be LBR. We started as LBR. We're going to end as LBR.
That's right. We've got to continue on LBR.
It's a better one when we were considering Lick Butt Radio.
I know, right?
I still like Laser Beam Raptors, but I mean...
That's a link shell, Nika.
That's classic,
That's such
though.
a cute name. I love it.
It is, but
It's
I don't...
not cute. It's very, very fierce.
I just don't think that it works in terms of...
No.
No, I think Let's Be Real probably works a lot better.
Much better.
I want to know, guys, if you agree. I want to hear from you.
We had no shortage of people tell us Final Encounter Cast was a stupid name when we came up with it.
I know,
so,
right?
I mean,
and so let us know in the chat room. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter at Nate Benderama. Do it. Do the thing. Did someone knock on the door?
Sounded like it.
Go answer the door, please.
They forgot something.
We're seriously, we're dropping hosts like flies.
Yeah, seriously.
I think maybe we may change the name of this show. I'm pretty certain that we're going to be changing the name of this show, but it's going to take a while. I still got to make intros. Like we've just kind of decided this, like sort of just now.
No. Well, that's nice.
You want to vote on it? I mean, we have a majority here.
I mean, I guess.
Let's vote on it
before they can come back.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone who likes who likes Let's Be Real as a new podcast name for Final Encounter Cast, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Just kidding. Aye.
Okay. Your jokes aren't going to be able to.
What?
Be good.
They're always good.
No, they've never been good.
Let's be real. They're perfect. The one with the bad jokes is clearly Robbie.
I mean, yes. Anyway, guys, all right, that's going to be it. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and we appreciate having you along. Stay tuned, because coming up next, we're going to have the weekly rebroadcast of the Checkpoint Radio podcast. No Arnie Roth interview attached to this one. We're going to play, basically, here's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to find our video, our video on demand, that is just the Checkpoint Radio podcast, and I'm going to put 55 minutes on the clock, and it's going to run through what it runs through. So stay tuned. The Checkpoint Radio podcast is next. If you want to check out the Checkpoint Radio channel, that's over at twitch.tv/Checkpoint Radio. Guys, this has been a fun episode, and I think that we've been hitting on some really interesting conversations, and we'd love to hear about it. Again, you can find me on Twitter. That's at Nate Benderama. While we get our Twitter handles and stuff changed over, we're gonna figure this out. So again, hashtag Let's Be Real, and put that on really any gaming conversation where you feel like the conversation has spun out, and we'll look for that. We'll definitely try to look for that, and maybe put in our own 2 cents on what is happening. And it also flags really important stories to us too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
Keep an eye on that hashtag.
Exactly. All right, guys, that's going to be it for us today. I want to thank you for joining us. Again, this show is eventually going to be called Let's Be Real, but it's still, for now, the Final Encounter Cast.
Okay, but if we're changing the name of the show, are we going to change the content of the show?
No.
No?
I mean, no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It's not going to change.
That's good.
Let's be real. We already put together a great show.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for us here at Final Encounter Cast, a.k.a. the Let's Be Real podcast. We'll see you next time. For Nika, Callie, Robbie, Chris, I'm Nate. Have a good one. Final Encounter Cast is a production of FinalEncounterCast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Nate Bender, Callie Sloan, and Kooky Persona. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. Final Encounter Cast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.